Hey guys, welcome in for Truth Talks. It is, what's tonight? Tonight's Wednesday night. Oh gosh, yesterday was my day off from my workout, and so I've got a night out workout tonight. I've still got some work to do here in the office, but before it got too late, I wanted to pop in and talk about today's Truth Talk message. And it's about always truth talks are always about being honest with yourself, right? Being truthful with yourself and the spirit in which you walk in and how you want to show up to the world. So, I want to talk tonight about when your life path and your choices begin to harm you and what that means and what that looks like and how it shows up in your life, your relationships, and oftentimes as well in your business and careers. So my name is Marcy Batiste. As you guys come in, feel free to share the video out, invite some folks into the conversation tonight. If you catch it on the replay or on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever, again, feel free to share the link. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I would totally appreciate that. And those of you who may be popping in for the very first time, you don't really know who I am. My name is Marcy Batiste. I'm Ultimate Power Trainer, America's #1 reality-based success and recovery trainer. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you have stopped by for some Truth Talks. Truth Talks is about real conversations for real life people dealing with real life stuff. And a lot of times we're afraid to unpack our stuff. And so, or we feel like we're all alone and we're carrying this big sack of burdens and nobody gets it. And so I wanted to try and, with Truth Talks, tackle some subjects that we tend to stuff under the pillows, put under the cushion of the couch, and look for, like, we only pull it, they only pop up when we're digging for change, right? So we want to take a deeper dive into some of these. And so tonight I really want to have a conversation about when your life path starts to cause you harm. It's an indicator that you've strayed away from your purpose. You're detoured. You're not on track. And so those of you who follow me for a while or have been following me in some cases for years, some of you are clients, so you know that the whole reality-based approach is just being really, really brutally honest with yourself about where you are, how you're making choices, and how you're choosing to show up to the world. And sometimes how we show up to the world isn't exactly how we think we're showing up to the world, and that's why we have to have these honest conversations that sometimes result in making it hard to look in the mirror. Sometimes that happens. That's my testimony. That's my truth. So, uh, Truth Talks and the whole conversation about uh, straying away from your purpose. I believe, and my clients know that I believe, that we're all sent here with an assignment. And if you use the A to Z analogy, there's a way, short path, shortcut, quick fix to get from point A to point Z. Z being your purpose, your place of your destiny. That's where you were supposed to be. That was where you're meant to get to all along. There is a short track to get there. Like if we do all the stuff right and we follow all of the steps and we go off onto our path and we never stray, we never detour, we get there much quicker. Unfortunately, that's not how life is for most of us. Life happens while we're making other plans. Things come up, other people's ideas show up in our lives, and we start making decisions that gets us off course for getting from A to Z in the most expedient way, and we take these little detours. So I know this was true for me. So giving you guys a little bit of background for those of you who don't know me, I've been divorced now for, I've lost track, it's been so long, 2003, so 15 years. I didn't realize it'd been that long. So 15 years I've been divorced. I was married for 16. We were together for 18. So it's about 50-50 at this point. When I got out of my marriage, I went through a series of bad relationship experiences. And when I had to get really honest about what was leading me down some of these paths. It was the choices that I was making in the people that I was choosing to be in relationship with. It would meant I didn't have boundaries. I didn't know how to communicate what I wanted. I didn't even know what I wanted. So there was a whole host of things that fell into and created this chaos that I had grown accustomed to living. And this is after my marriage was over. And so a few years into this process, I found myself in a physically abusive relationship, and that was like literally the crack in the head that I needed. Like, when we say, like, you're gonna have to keep learning that, he's gonna have to keep teaching you the lesson until you learn the lesson. That really was the straw that broke the camel's back for me, that said, you know what, Marcy, you're gonna have to do some things different. You're gonna have to make different decisions about relationships, or the next relationship choice that you make might kill you, because this one almost did. And so I had to get real clear really, really fast about that and begin a journey of healing, self-discovery, personal development, recovery, all of these things, like, immediately, to make sure that I didn't go back to making those same types of choices, picking the same kind of relationship partners that I had been picking in the past. That being said, one of the things that I had to realize was that it was my choices. Those relationships, every single one of them, as defunct and chaotic and it was such a mess that they ended up, were all my choices. And granted, I didn't have a lot of boundaries at the time. I didn't have a lot of self-esteem at the time when I entered into them. So I was kind of operating from a, if you like me, I like you approach. And that did not serve me well. It did not serve me well. And what I realized was that I was finding myself stumbling and bumping my head a lot because I wasn't on track. I wasn't on track with my personal life. I had not ever, to that point, been on track. And I had to literally halt my life as I knew it and start doing things differently. I had to redirect my path. My detour had gotten so far off, and my life choices, my life path, literally was on the way to killing me. But I knew that I hadn't fulfilled my purpose. I knew there was something greater for me in this life. I knew that I had a bigger purpose than being a bank executive. I had a bigger purpose than just being a mother, than just being a daughter, than just being a community leader. I knew there was something greater out there for me. I knew that I had a purpose, but I didn't know how to get there. I didn't know what it looked like. There were so many questions, so many things I didn't know. The only thing that I knew was that if I continued on the path that I was going on, I was probably going to end up in a relationship that killed me. No question asked. That forced me to make really fast changes, and really, really take the growth process and the change process and the healing process seriously, because one more misstep might mean death. It might mean, a much, much worse relationship, a much more serious situation than all of the ones that I had experienced leading up to that choice. But I share that story. I share my story of domestic violence often because it was a game changer for me. That experience changed my whole life. It changed the way I think about things. It changed the way I interact with people. It changed the way I allow people to interact with me. It changed everything. But it forced me to not be afraid to take a new path. It forced me to admit that the choices and the decisions that I was making were not in alignment with my purpose. They were not in alignment with being sent here for something greater. They were leading me in a wrong direction. So it meant redirecting. And oftentimes we get to a place where we know that we're making really crappy life decisions. We know that we're making bad relationship choices. We know we're making bad decisions with money. We know that we're making bad career moves. We know that we're playing it safe when we really need to jump. We're jumping when we should have stayed on solid ground. We're doing all kinds of stuff willy-nilly, trying to get to Z, but not taking the most direct route. We're taking all of these detours that have us going all these other crazy directions, when if we just get focused on what is your purpose, what were you sent here for, what is your assignment, what is it, what's the bigger, like, I believe your purpose has to be bigger than you. It has to be bigger than you. It has to kind of intimidate you. It should probably scare the hell out of you. You should feel going into pursuit of your purpose like you're probably going to fail. You should feel maybe a little bit unprepared, but you should also feel ignited. You should feel inspired by the fact that there's something great there for you. And if I could tell you how many people I know that I have this conversation and they're like, I just know there's something else out there for me, but I just don't know what it is. And a lot of the new, my especially my accountability clients, they know that there's something more. They know that there's something greater. They also are very keenly aware that there's something holding them back. And so in our accountability sessions, that's what we work on. We work on, what are these key things that hold you back? What are these things that you're afraid to admit? What are these things you're afraid to address? And so then we start addressing them one by one together. But you have to be willing to peel back the layers one by one by one by one and say, this fits, this doesn't. This fits, this doesn't. This fits, this doesn't. And then you have to be willing and prepared to discard things that no longer fit, because not everything that you've been drudging along with belongs with you. You know, oftentimes the burdens that are heaviest for us aren't even ours to carry. We're carrying other people's burdens. We're carrying other people's responsibilities. We're carrying other people's life choices. We're carrying other people's ideas. And when you start dropping people's ideas back off on their doorstep, and you start dropping their burdens back off on their doorstep, all of a sudden your load feels a little bit lighter. It feels like, well, damn, maybe I can do something great. Maybe I can leave an impact. Maybe I can leave a legacy. But it's going to mean that you redirect and get back on track with where your purpose is, and starting to discover, what is it that I want to do? What is it that I want to accomplish? Who do I want to serve? And I swear to you guys, when you learn to live a life of service where it's not always about you, and people who know me really well are gonna laugh because I always say it's always about me. That's why it's Live Life on Mars. It's always about me. But I think everybody should feel like their world is about them. So it's not unique to me. I'm just bold enough to say it. That yes, my world revolves around me. But I think everybody's world should revolve around them. But when you get really clear about that and realize your world revolving around you isn't about being self-centered. It's not about being selfish. It's not about only doing for you. It's about making room to serve something greater. It's about making room to pursue that purpose. It's about making room to get back on track. It's about making room to make decisions that are good for you and healthy for you, that pursue your dreams and your desires. Take those dreams off the to-do list. Put them on your today list. That's what it allows you to do when you make your world about you. And it just is a hard pill for some people to swallow if they don't really understand what that means and what that looks like. But I'm afforded a great deal of flexibility to be able to serve and to be able to work with other individuals on their healing journey, on their recovery process. Trauma recovery is tough. It's tough to leave some of that baggage behind. It's tough to rebuild self-esteem that's been destroyed over years and years and years. But guess what? Because I lived life on Mars, because I made my world about me, it made room for me to develop the skills. It made room for me to invite these individuals in so that I can provide a service, so that I can help, so that I can give back, so I can reach out. Survival is a responsibility. Absolutely. But if I had no room for it, and had I not made the steps 6 or 7 years ago to get back on track and to figure out what my purpose is, then I'd still be straying off in the middle of nowhere. And so I challenge you tonight, as you think about your life choices, are your life choices starting to harm you? And if your life choices are starting to harm you, or if they're just taking you on a path that you just really don't want to go down, and or you think there's something bigger out there but you don't know how to get there, then it's time to redirect. It's time to get back on the path that's going to lead you to your purpose. But you have to be very, very honest that your choices, your life path is starting to derail you. It's been a detour from your purpose, and then you can begin to get back on track. And always, if you guys need help, that's what I'm here for. That's what Ultimate Power Coaching is all about, is getting people and giving you the tools to do for you, to give you the tools to make room for your purpose, to make room for service, to make room for happiness, to make room for fulfillment. But it can be hard to do alone, so that's what I'm here for. Thank you so much for you guys for joining in. Thanks for living life on Mars with me. Thanks for being part of the Ultimate Power team. The inbox is open 24/7. And like always, if you've missed any of the videos, they're all on my YouTube channel, and the link is up above. So I will start down below. I'm confused on which platform I'm at, where it's at. But anyway, the link is somewhere around this video. So scroll up, scroll down, share it out, and I will talk to you guys later on. Have a great night.